from a legend, President Lincoln and President Obama. We have just the man to explain their connection. All right, well, this week we're getting ready to celebrate the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By now, most of you know that Lincoln is President Obama's idol. And the two presidents have a few things in common.
Not many people expected me to become president, with a possible exception of my wife.
All right, Gene Greisman, that was him there, and this is him now. He's also a Lincoln scholar. Good to see you. He's with us to talk about the Lincoln effect on the new president. So what is it about President Lincoln that you think inspires President Obama so much?
I think Obama sees what most of us see, and that is that Lincoln is an up-from-nothing kind of person. Here's a person who had only 1 year of schooling, yet he writes two of the finest pieces ever written in the English language. He log cabin to White House, and I think Obama sees in him, if he can do it, I can too.
And it's interesting because when we first saw, I guess, the parallel, or we first saw the admiration that President Obama has in President Lincoln, that was when he announced his presidency. But it didn't end there. It kept going. He has carried out the parallels just as everyone else has made, I guess, comparisons about even the start of his administration, that team of rivals that President Obama has not been afraid to reach across the aisle or to look at what were, I guess, considered nemesis and bring them on board.
That's absolutely right.
What other similarities do you see?
Oh, there are a number of similarities. Lincoln was a lawyer. Obama was a lawyer. Lincoln served in the Illinois legislature. Obama served in the Illinois legislature. Lincoln had a brief tenure in Congress. Obama had a brief tenure in Congress. Lincoln opposed the Mexican War. Obama opposed the Iraq War. Lincoln was a fine writer. Obama is a fine writer. In fact, they have a writerly mind. By that I mean they love sentences and cadences and the power of words. And there's this further similarity. That's exactly right. In fact, you mentioned the team of rivals. There's one of these uncanny parallels from history in that Mr. Lincoln, when he chose his Secretary of State, chose the person who had been the front runner for the presidential nomination, a senator from New York, Mr. Seward, and of course, as you know, Mr. Obama chose the former front-runner, the senator from New York, to be his Secretary of State. Wonderful parallels.
That's interesting. And you think it's going to continue throughout his administration? He's not just doing this, or others aren't, you know, drawing the parallels because it's, I guess, fashionable right now. It's interesting. But will it really have legs throughout?
I think it will.
He'll administer
I've been studying Lincoln intensely for many, many years, and I never tire of him. In fact, I find something more to admire almost every day. I think there's another parallel, in fact, a couple of parallels about Mr. Obama and Lincoln, and that is their tone. For example, Lincoln believed that the way to lead was to persuade. He talked about kind, gentle, unassuming persuasion. And I think that's the tone we see in Mr. Obama.
And so his first piece of legislation, the first matter that he's really trying to get nailed down, the stimulus package, we know Lincoln's not here, and we know you sometimes become him, but what do you think? Do you think President Lincoln would like the approach or embrace the approach that President Obama is toward this stimulus package?
I think I can answer that without channeling Lincoln.
Okay.
I'm going to give you four.
Although I would like to see you channel him, but go ahead.
Well, come to one of the performances. But there are four. Yeah. One, I think Lincoln would say it is a great piece of folly to cut taxes when you're trying to prosecute a war. Lincoln and the smart people around him knew that if you're going to prosecute a war, you have to raise taxes. Number two, he would have supported the infrastructure bill. He believed in that. The Transcontinental Railroad was begun under Lincoln's administration. He would have supported education. The land grant bill was passed in his time that produced the Michigan states. And
we know transportation and education were part of the stimulus plan.
That is exactly right. And four, he would have had regulation for what government spends.
All right. Gene Greisman, so fabulous. I felt like I had a little chat with Lincoln, too.
Thank you. That's a compliment.
And the book is Lincoln Speaks to Leaders. This is yours. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, and happy birthday, President Lincoln.
I'm feeling 200. Old these days.
But you'll look great. Nowhere close to 200 years. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.